6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Kanus Ashraf. First, the headlines. Prime Minister will represent Pakistan at Extraordinary Summit of Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Occupied Jerusalem in Istanbul on Wednesday. The National Assembly has been informed that over 4 million Afghan refugees have returned home since 2002 under voluntary repatriation program. Secretary-General Economic Coordination Organization has urged member states to double their efforts for increasing intra-regional trade. Russia has decided to pull out its forces from Syria. United States, South Korea and Japan kicked off joint exercises in waters near the Korean peninsula today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shahid Haqqan Abbasi will represent Pakistan at Extraordinary Summit of Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Al-Quds Al-Sharif being held in Istanbul on Wednesday. The summit will discuss the recent U.S. decision to shift its embassy from Tel Aviv to occupied Jerusalem. The OIC leaders will also explore ways to deal with the situation. The Prime Minister will convey the sentiments of the people and government of Pakistan of the unequivocal support to the people of Palestine. He will stress upon the OIC for a united stance on the issue of Al-Quds Al-Sharif and call upon the U.S. administration to review its decision. The summit will be preceded by the Council of Foreign Ministers meeting, which will be attended by Foreign Minister Khwaja Mohammad Asif. The extraordinary summit has been called by the President of Turkey in his capacity as the chair of OIC. Most OIC member states are expected to attend. The National Assembly was informed today that 1.38 million registered and 700,000 unregistered Afghan refugees are residing in Pakistan. Replying to a query during question hour, Minister for States and Frontier Regions Abdul Qadir Baloch informed the House that repatriation of registered Afghan refugees is guided by the principle of voluntarism according to tripartite agreement signed by the governments of Pakistan and Afghanistan and UNHCR. He said under the program, 4.3 million Afghan refugees have returned to Afghanistan since 2002, which has been marked as the largest voluntary repatriation program in UNHCR's history. Answering a question, Parliamentary Secretary for Commerce Shahza Fatima informed the House that government has taken a number of steps to promote exports of fruits. Answering another question, Shahza Fatima informed the House that Pakistan's exports to European Union increased by 38% in 2016 against 2013 after the grant of GSP plus status to Pakistan. Speaker National Assembly Sadar Sadiq says Pakistan is fully committed to timely and effective implementation of all projects under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. He was talking to a delegation headed by Assistant Minister of International Department of Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, Wang Yajun, in Islamabad today. The speaker said the historical Pak-China relations have entered a new phase of unprecedented cooperation. He said Pakistan wishes to explore all existing opportunities to further cement these relations. Assistant Minister of IDCPC said Pakistan has an importance in China's strategic calculations. He said the leadership of both countries has demonstrated an unflinching resolve to further strengthen bilateral relations. China has commended Pakistan for attaching high importance to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project and taking necessary measures to ensure safety of Chinese citizens and institutions in the country. The remarks came from Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lu Kang during a regular press briefing in Beijing today. The spokesperson said the CPEC is a major cooperation project for the two countries in the alignment of their development strategies. Pakistan has raised a strong force comprising 15,000 security personnel for the safety of Chinese citizens working on CPEC projects and the Chinese institutions across the country. Secretary General Economic Coordination Organization Halil Ibrahim has called upon the ECO member states to double their efforts for increasing intra-regional trade by two-folds. He was addressing the 28th meeting of Economic Cooperation Organization and Regional Planning Council in Islamabad today. The Secretary General said the intra-regional ECO trade accounts for 7.64% of the total trade of the ECO member states, which is not comparable with peer economic blocs, and therefore the ECO needs to intensify efforts on this account. Halil Ibrahim said although China-Pakistan Economic Corridor was not part of ECO, but the member states of the organizations are very much interested to benefit from the corridor. Speaking on the occasion, Planning Minister S. N. Iqbal stressed the need for enhancing regional connectivity to maximize trade volume among the member states. He said, keeping in view the increasing connectivity across the world, the region requires greater collaboration to promote trade, development, peace, and stability. This is Radio Pakistan. Pakistan has described Indian Prime Minister's accusation of interference in Gujarat elections as utterly baseless and irresponsible. In a tweet, Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal said India should stop dragging Pakistan into its electoral debate. He said electoral victories should be made on one's own strength rather than fabricated conspiracies. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 3 youth and a woman in Handwara area of Kupwara district today. According to Kashmir Media Service, the killings took place during a joint operation by Indian Army, Police and Paramilitary Central Reserve Police Force in Yunsu village of Handwara town. Immediately after the killings, the puppet authority suspended mobile and internet services in Sopur and Handwara areas. Thousands of people, while braving rains and cold weather, participated in the funeral of the martyred woman in Handwara town. The mourners had wrapped her body in Pakistani flag and marched through the village, raising pro-freedom and anti-India slogans. India's opposition party, Indian National Congress, named Rahul Gandhi as its new president today. This was announced by senior party leader Mullapalli Ramchandran at a press conference in New Delhi. The United States, South Korea, and Japan kicked off 2-day joint exercises in waters near the Korean Peninsula and Japan today to track missiles from North Korea. In a statement, South Korea's Defense Ministry said during the drill, warships from each country will simulate detecting and tracking down potential ballistic missiles from North Korea and sharing the information. Russia and China have criticized the latest drills by the United States, South Korea, and Japan in the waters near the Korean Peninsula. Russia has decided to pull out its forces from Syria. President Vladimir Putin gave directions to the Defense Ministry in this regard during his surprise visit to the Hmeym air base in Syria today. Addressing the Russian military personnel at the base, Vladimir Putin said Russia is ready to deal a new blow to the terrorists if they again try to break peace in Syria. And finally, the weather report. Upper parts of the country are receiving rains, which has increased the intensity of cold. A spokesperson of Met Office told our correspondent that the rain is continuing in Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Peshawar, Hazara, Kohat, Lahore, Gujranwala, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan. The spokesperson said the current rain spell will persist for next 48 hours. Meanwhile, rain thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected at scattered places in Upper Punjab, Islamabad, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan, while at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Upper Fatah, and Multan divisions during the next 12 hours. However, cold and dry weather is expected elsewhere in the country. To end the news headlines once again. Prime Minister will represent Pakistan at Extraordinary Summit of Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Occupied Jerusalem in Istanbul on Wednesday. The National Assembly has been informed that over 4 million Afghan refugees have returned home since 2002 under voluntary repatriation program. Secretary General Economic Coordination Organization has urged member states to double their efforts for increasing intra-regional trade. Russia has decided to pull out its forces from Syria. United States, South Korea and Japan kicked off joint exercises in waters near the Korean Peninsula today. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com Radio Pakistan News Official.